Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. I'm actually outside here. So, Donald Trump knows nothing about business. He's not a businessman, a legit businessman. He's a con artist. That's all he is. I've done several videos on this. If you read his biographies, Donald Trump never read, when he was in his 30s, late 20s, never read the paper. Wall Street Journal, every businessman, that's your Bible every morning. Without exception, you read the Wall Street Journal. Trump never did that. He read the New York Post. So he's a phony, knows nothing about business, the stock market, and the only people who are more ignorant than Donald Trump when it comes to business are his supporters. I mean, dumb as a box of fucking rocks, the supporters. So I'm going to play a clip here of the great David Pakman. I say he is so awesome. And watch this, and then I'll comment further afterwards. Okay, David Pakman.
Earlier this week, I did a story about the stock market. And specifically, I pointed out to you, using data, that Donald Trump and Trumpists have been hanging their hats on Donald Trump's stock market performance as a sign of Trump winning and being good for the country, and that there are two major problems with that. Number one is that the stock market climbing is only good for some people, and when stocks go up and wages stay the same, that's part of the problem. That's how wealth continues to accumulate at the top. The bigger problem, though, is that stocks rose more under Barack Obama than under Donald Trump. I showed this graph when we did the story. Stocks went up nearly 59% during Barack Obama's first 3 years in the S&P 500, only up 46% during Donald Trump's first 3 years, stocks rising roughly 28% more during Barack Obama's first 3 years than during Donald Trump's first 3 years. Now, when I did the story, I knew there would be some Trumpists who simply wouldn't understand. They simply wouldn't understand the numbers. But the degree to which their ignorance has been weaponized into online trolling and harassment and cognitive dissonance with the goal of simply continuing to blindly support Donald Trump, it even stunned me. And I'm going to show you some of the YouTube comments in response to that story. And the truth is, I could do this with a lot of stories that we do, just pick YouTube comments and show them to you. The reason I'm choosing this one is that the subject matter is so simple and it's very objective. It's not super open to interpretation. If you want to talk about Donald Trump's foreign policy maneuvering, what to one person seems like a blunder could be some kind of 4D chess to someone else. And there's really like a debate to be had about it. This is just super clear. The S&P 500 climbed 59% during Obama's first 3 years and 46% during Trump's. That means the S&P 500, the broadest of the big three stock market indices, climbed 25 roughly percent more under Obama than under Trump. It's cut and dry. It's simple. Check out these comments. We have examples of basically every type of response we imagined. Quote, when you crash it first, it's easy to increase it. LOL, this is funny. Of course, this is nonsense on two fronts. Most importantly, that stocks didn't crash under Barack Obama. That's just made up. It's not true. Next comment, quote, I mean, $1 trillion stimulus package, a government bailout of the auto industry and near zero interest rates will do that. The question is, will there be consequences and will you blame Trump for them? So this one is similar, but it's from someone with like a few more arrows in their quiver, saying that Obama effectively bought himself an inflated market with government spending. That is an admission that government stimulus works, first of all. And hilariously, they seem to be saying that now that Trump has no longer done the same thing as Obama, we are now seeing the consequences, which appear to be slightly slower stock growth under Donald Trump. Completely incoherent. If it doesn't make sense to you, it's because it doesn't make sense. Another comment. Yeah, but a recovery after a crash will rebound faster and more easily. I don't think that's disputable. Again, I specifically mentioned this one yesterday. It's a fallacy. It's a post facto rationalization. I knew we would get this comment, and we did. Another comment, quote, the stock market went up because of all that quantitative easing money from the Fed and very low interest rates under Obama. If Trump had quantitative easing and near zero interest rates under his first 3 years, it would go up much higher than what it has. The stock market is not a good indicator of a good economy. This one's funny for a few reasons. It again cites some of these normal Obama rigged the stock market to go up with his programs. But then it also says Trump hasn't gotten any Fed benefit, even though Trump has. Trump's gotten rate cuts. He complained they weren't big enough. That's a whole farce. But then they also say the stock market doesn't matter anyway in terms of evaluating the economy. Yeah, I said that yesterday. And yet still the metric that Trump and his followers choose to use is stock market performance. Another comment, quote, wrong. Trump had multiple record high peaks, higher than any point during Obama. You are being a disingenuous Democrat. Also, the market is in the average person's benefit when we have a market where companies are struggling to find workers like now versus workers struggling to find work like under Obama. This one's just incoherent, and it's also laced with ad hominems, so not a surprise. And then lastly, quote, what the hell have you been smoking? The market is up 11,000 points since Trump was elected, and 401k are up from 40 to 70%. This one's just a total non sequitur. The market is up 11,000 points. Which market? I assume they mean the Dow. Of course, we're talking about the S&P 500. And of course, we're talking about the percentage increase or decrease. That's what matters. And whatever happened in anyone's individual 401k is really not relevant to the broader conversation that we're having. So the conclusion from this, we can't reason with these people. It's impossible. I want you to see these comments to realize that even on something this simple, they can't be reached. You can't reason with them. You're not going to convince that person to say, you know what, you're right. Let me vote for someone other than Trump in November of 2020. They will not be part of our removing Donald Trump. They will not be part of us accomplishing anything if anything is going to be accomplished. So the revelation needs to be, and I hope many of you have had it long ago, we need to go around them and just do everything we can to prevent them from interfering. We're not going to convince them to come to our side. Let's convince people already on our side to get out and vote in November of 2020, because these people are not going to see the light.
Just came inside. I'm in my basement here. So there you have it. David says it all right there. You can't reason with these Trump supporters. They're just not smart people. They're uneducated. They don't know anything about about business, about the stock market. It's sad and pathetic. All right. On that note, good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk.